Alright, today we're going to go over the 2-inch auto cut, the 2RP-SPC pre-cut machine from FTS. And first thing we're going to do is go through where you hook up your power and your air. So towards the unwind end, the main pressure regulator can be found just on the inside where you hook up your main air. We try to keep that at 60 psi. So then we're going to go down here to the main electrical cabinet. This is the main disconnect switch with a lockout tag out feature built in for the off position. When you go to attach the main power, it will attach to the top of the disconnect 240 volt single phase, and you have a ground lug to the side for your incoming power on legs 1 and 2 there. So we're going to go ahead and power this machine up by turning the disconnect handle to the on position. If you notice, this machine is in segments. The front end is the unwind where your media will pay off into the machine. Inside here is what's called the pinch rollers, and then you have your knife section attached here as well. This segment does move in and out and allows you to separate to help clear jams from inside the machine and perform maintenance. The center section is your pleat stars. This is the pleater. It is fixed and does not move. This next section is what we call the bunching section. This one has 2 different sets of belts in it. The first one closest to the stars is the bunching section, and then you'll notice the second set is the spacing belts. These both are adjustable up and down to engage or disengage against the material by using this handle. The front one for the bunching, the second for the spacing belts. So inside each segment, I wanted to discuss on the unwind here some of the upgrades that were made to your machine. On the knife section itself, the cylinders that actuate the blade were upgraded to a larger bore to help handle the material. You'll now notice too there is an air tank here to help increase that capacity. You will hear that charge up when you put the air on it for the first time, so don't be alarmed when that makes a sound when you first put the air on. And while we're inside the machine, you'll notice we have 2 magnetic locks. These are a part of the safety circuit to help make sure the machine is put together and safe before operation. So we're going to go ahead and put this machine together. Each segment should slide together, and we'll engage each of the latches. These just help maintain the mechanical integrity between the machines, so we're not relying solely on the magnets. Now that that's all latched together, we'll be able to make sure the safety system resets and get the machine ready for operation. So we'll come here to our operator console. We'll make sure the E-stop is reset, the twist release. And then as we look at the screen, you'll notice we have an alarm present and the machine is unlocked and it's red. We're going to start by tapping the machine. It should turn green, and that's what turns on the magnets. If the E-stop and the magnets are satisfied, we should be able to hit the system start, and then if everything is satisfied, it'll turn on white. Now we can come to our screen, tap the alarm bell for the alarms, and reset any alarms. And once those are clear, the machine is ready for operation. So let's go to the front, the unwind, and get the machine ready for operation. So a couple features here at the unwind I want to point out. you have two arms here and the rod that the media goes on. These arms are attached to this crank to self-center the material into the machine. And by adjusting these, the arms together will go out and back in to help guide that material down the middle of the machine. So one tip to help feed this material in is we're going to fold over and create a triangle just to make it easy to feed into the machine. So we have 3 rollers here to guide the material to help break the memory out of the media. We're going to go over, under, and bring it back up to go over the top roller and feed into the machine. While we're here, I want to point out there is a sensor here, and this is what we call the media out sensor. As long as this is blocked, the machine allows it to run, and that's what stops the machine when we run out of material. So we'll get this started in the machine just under the pinch roller, and there's a jog button right here on the end that allows us to press and push the media into the machine. So I'm going to press it, you'll see the pinch roller come down and the pleat stars will start. Once that material is engaged in the pleat stars, you can stop jogging it and it should start running. I'm going to jog it a little bit further and I'll explain that why here in just a second. Now that the material's in the machine, we're ready to start this up. If this is empty and this is the first time you're loading material into the machine, we have this handy pleat starter. It's a handle with some rods that go down. You can push it down and jog the material to get the folds started on the material. We'll just run it a little bit and always make sure that that is pulled up and clear. That's what helps start the folds inside the machine, so we know it's going to get a good start. So before we start, once you have your material or your changeover complete, we want to make sure you satisfy how many pleats do you want per filter, what speed you want to operate at, and this is in pleats per minute, and those bunching and spacing ratio numbers right here. You have one for the first set of belts and one for the second set of belts. So just for reference, this bunching number, that is 25% of whatever your speed you're running. So once you dial these in for your product, you'll want to make note and have recipes so you know what numbers to put back in there. And before we begin, let's go into another part of the dimensions and the details. This arrow screen, this is our links. This is what controls the front end and the back end of the material, of how long it cuts on the front and how long it leaves the back end on the tail. These are adjustable, so if your tail is a little short or a little long, you can actually reduce it, and every tap is 0.1 inches up or down to get full length or a shorter pleat. The other dimension on this screen to really pay attention to, this dimension, the pleat material, we have it set at 3.63 inches. This is the measurement from the valley of one pleat and how much material it takes to get to the valley of the next. One full pleat in inches. If we start having issues with our pack length, that dimension may be slightly off. But once that is dialed in, you should not have to touch it unless you mechanically change the stars. We also, while we're here, have a maintenance screen with the wrench. If I tap that, You'll see each feature. You can jog the exit conveyor here on the end. You can jog the bunching and spacing belts. The pleat head, you can jog forward and reverse to help clear jams. You can cycle the knife to clear the material out of the machine. And then the pinch rollers, you can actually engage them for alignment checks, and you can jog those forward and reverse as well. So we're going to go back to the main screen. Now, one thing before I hit start, I didn't point this out, but you can actually turn the cutting blade on and off and run this as a straight pleater and get the material straight out of the machine. If you turn off the media sensor, you can run the machine empty with no media in it. It will not fault. If that's turned on and the material runs out, it will create an alarm saying the media is out. So before I hit start, we're going to pay attention to the stars inside here in the pleat head. Anytime a manual function is done, an e-stop, or you jog the machine, the stars will re-home, and that's what sets the zero. So I'm getting ready to press start now, and you'll notice that the stars find a sensor that's underneath in the machine, and once that point is almost vertical, it'll take off and start running. So what you'll hear as this is operating, you'll hear the pinch roller come down on the material to help hold it, and then you'll hear the knife cycle to cut the material.